Well, Kenny Gould, the 1988 bronze medalist as an Olympian in Seoul, has had himself a string of fights, a whole bunch of them as an amateur, and that was part of the subject of our interview with Kenny that Chris McClure had at yesterday's weigh-in.
Kenny, a lot of fights as an amateur, an Olympic bronze medal, 291 victories, 24 losses. Is there anything that you haven't yet seen? Can you be surprised?
At this stage, no, not really. No. All it is now is, okay, after we finish with the amateur competition, settle with the bronze as you spoke, and now into the professional world, it's time to go on to bigger and better things, and that is capturing the welterweight world championship in any category. If I can possibly take all the belts, I'm going to do it.
Okay. Was it a completely smooth transition with that kind of preparation, that many fights into your pros?
Well, having that experience and everything, it was pretty simple. But, you know, mostly everybody without the experience and the many years, they'd say it's a pretty hard transition, but it's really not to me. It's pretty simple. All it is like more relaxed, and it's less complex because you have plenty of time to build your strategy or go about your strategy.
Someone else said it, but I think you agree with it, that you train to perfection. The people that bring it right to the peak sometimes leave the fight in the gym, yet you don't. What's the trick? How do you deal with that?
Well, it's like, it's an automatic thing that, you know, it's been with me for the many years, and I guess I just work with it with no problem, you know. It's just automatic, and it just comes out, you know. There is no kind of over-peaking because I won't allow myself to. You know, I get to a certain stage, and then, hey, it's time to ease down, or it's time to go on further, and it's just over and over again like that.
I assume that you're right where you want to be coming to this
That's
one.
right, that's right.
Okay.
We're all ready to get busy and do this.
16-0 is the record. That's admirable. 8 knockouts, that's not bad, but not many lately. Is there anything to be learned from that? Does it mean anything?
Not really. I enter the ring looking at my opponent as being a champion and me dethroning the champion, and that's all I'm looking forward to. Victorious, either way possible. If a knockout comes, it comes. If I can box him to death, put on a show for the people, that's what I'm going to do.
Here at Fight Night at the Hyatt, it is Kenny Gould and Anthony Bryant, Chris.
Anthony Bryant has some reasonable credentials, even though his record overall, as we take a look at his numbers in the tail of the tape, his record overall is under 500 at just 13-9-1 with 7 knockouts. But he's faced some pretty good folks. He is a workhorse. He's durable, not terribly aggressive. That's been one of his liabilities over the years. I guess those that want to think back and perhaps draw some measure of comparison will take note of the fact that Tyrone Trice out of Detroit KO'd this man in 1984, a third-round knockout. That's a while ago, but it gives you an idea because a lot of folks know Trice and his skills. Kenny Gould has a world to look forward to that should be pretty bright. We talked about it a few minutes ago, George, a liability, and that is that his punching power is suspect. Beyond that, he's got just about everything. Technically sound, he's got an Olympic medal, and he's moving reasonably well through his professional career. But there are a lot of things to prove from Kenny Gould's perspective before he'll be considered even a top 10 contender. A ways to go for him.
Knockouts is still important. You must have some power. Let's go up now to Wally Jackson.
And this Jonathan B. Pub bout is 8 rounds in the welterweight division. The man in decision, Monty Oswald. Introducing first in the red corner, weighed in at 149 1/4 pounds. As a professional, 13 wins, 19 losses, 1 draw. From Nashville, Tennessee, let's welcome Anthony Bryant. Bryant and his opponent in the blue corner, weighed in at 146 pounds. He is undefeated as a professional, 16 victories, 8 by knockout. From Rockford, Illinois, I give you Kenny, the Candyman Gould.
Kenny Gould out of Rockford, Illinois, now wearing the colors of the Kronk boxing team in Detroit. And managed by a long-time associate in that Kronk gym, Jackie Callan.
Important test for Kenny Gould.
This is an 8-rounder.
8 rounds. He's gone 8 and 10 before. Some said he shouldn't have had to go that long. Very active, very quick, good footwork, has a good base, quick with his hands, throws punches in bunches, does all kinds of good things. And one time, some time back, George Massenet, the opposition, really hurt Kenny Gould. Turned out to be one of Gould's best fights as a professional. George, he fought back off adversity, so that he proved some heart. You know, the one missing element. We keep going back to it. He could use a power display. He doesn't have to have a knockout, but a power display. But look at that flicking jab. So quick, in and out, stick and move, stick and move.
Well, very, very good. Kenny Gould against Nashville, Tennessee's Anthony Bryant. This is round 1. Bryant against the ropes. Just pulled his way off of the ropes. Cat quick combinations from Gould, scoring sparingly. Both fighters aggressive here in round 1.
Gould's a left-hander, but he's changing up a little bit. He's very confident, of course. That's a good pop.
Than halfway through the round, and Gould does score.
You know, you think about 291-24 as a amateur. That's what, 300 and some odd fights. And of course, the way amateurs are scored, George, it doesn't place a premium on power. And sometimes you, during that lengthy an amateur career, which is awfully unusual, you ignore that part of the development, and maybe that's what's showing up and betraying him a little bit. And at age 23, you have to figure he's pretty much reached his full maturity. Just need to work on it. But punches and bunches, there's a flurry. A couple of them score. He'll throw 8, score 2, and that's often sufficient in the eyes of the judges. Obviously carrying the action in this round, doing about what he wants, but not bad defense by Bryant. He's knocking down a lot of stuff.
He's showing me a little something. Gould has him into his own corner. Anthony Bryant shoves his way out of the corner. Less than a half a minute left in round 1.
Well, you figure Gould, you know, he's gone 8, he's gone 10. He hasn't lost as a pro, so he won all of those fights that went the distance. The problem that Bryant has, George, is starting his own tempo at all, because the hand speed will not allow Bryant to get set to do anything he wants to do. And Bryant is just getting swarmed by Gould.
He has been on the defensive because of Kenny Gould's quickness throughout round 1.
The only thing he can really do at this point is try and sneak something up inside or counter. Maybe take a risk. Maybe it's a little early to think in those terms, but sometime along the way, he's going to have to sell out his defense entirely in order to reach over those quick hands of Gould and take a risk to throw a punch. Hopefully he can land it from his perspective, and if he can, maybe then he'll have at least an instant to get himself set and do what he wants to do. But not as long as Gould is doing this, swarm and push and lean on the shoulder, step back, stick and move, bring it inside. No time at all to set up from Bryant's side of things, and Gould can carry that pace for a long time. He is an exceptionally well-conditioned athlete.
Well, you talked about the fact that he is perfectly trained for fights and doesn't leave it in the gym. He's ready for this one, I'll tell you that. Here we go in round 2.
And I'm pretty sure that we didn't speak specifically about, you know, who makes the decisions in terms of the day they start to taper and all that. But having done it so many times, I think Gould calls the shot entirely on that. He knows his body. He knows his emotions and his framework. He says, okay, it's time to taper. Maybe everyone else in the camp thinks it's a day early, but he hasn't guessed wrong very often, if at all.
The bronze medalist in Seoul, welterweight Kenny Gould in the gold of the Kronk boxing team. Here in Dearborn, right outside the Motor City.
In terms of, if we want to pursue the power thing a little bit further, George, let's keep an eye on his hands and the extension. Well, you know, they're quick hands, they're out there, they're all over the place, but the extension and the turn of the wrist, finishing the punch at the end, is he giving up some power? I think so. Watch his elbows. His elbows don't reach their full extension, and his body is not involved in his punches. His legs
a stinger, I would say.
Yeah, he's a stinger. His legs really aren't involved in anything he throws. He doesn't reach from down. He doesn't bring anything from the heels. Maybe a little bit more when he's down low in the body. Of course, the leverage thing comes into play there. But not like a lot of folks you see who just bring it from the back foot, and it really delivers all the body power and the weight. Interesting, he leads from back there with the left hand as a left-hander fighting from the southpaw side. Big shot. Got the crowd going anyway.
Well, they have to like his style. He is slick. That was exactly what he's about.
Interesting thing. He's leading with the left, crosses over to right, and then leads back with the right hand on the same side. He scored with it twice. He just, you know, Bryant just doesn't have time to blink or think.
Kenny Gould scoring with stinging combinations here in round 2. Nothing terribly heavy.
Bingo. That was a big right, or left hand coming out of that clinch. You can't tie him up either, George.
No way.
I think Bryant would like to, but he can't find anything to get a hold of. See, the uppercut breaks the attempted clinch by Bryant, and right back in is Gould before he even has a chance to reset. Man, he's fast. Boom, boom, boom. Fight from a lot of angles. He'll fight down underneath your shoulders if he has to. Just did that coming out of the corner. Then he steps back, gets the leverage with his own shoulders, and delivers a flurry like that.
Showed the crowd a little shuffle before the bell, and round 2's in the books. Kenny Gould against Anthony Bryant.
And the right eye of Mr. Bryant looks like it needs a little bit of look or attention. It's kind of, it's a cut, actually, George. If we look up into his corner, it's kind of an abrasive cut. It's ragged. It's bleeding just a little bit. That's all it's going to do. It's below the eye. And actually, doesn't look like it wants to mouse up, because it is a cut, and it's not threatening to close that eye at the moment. But he's going to take more punishment there. That part is clear.
That's what those kind of fighters will do, Chris McClure. They won't put you on your backside, but they can cut you up.
Take a look at some of Kenny Gould in less than real time. Watch his arms. He reached over the top in that particular one. Now he comes out of the clinch by using that uppercut that breaks the hold. Well, we'll keep an eye on that arm extension. I'm fascinated by that part of it.
Here we go, round 3.
That was a good fast jab right to the chest. Uppercut does it every time, doesn't it?
Yep.
Forces.
There you go. Get it right, baby. There you go.
Gould had Bryant on the ropes. Didn't really hurt him.
Bryant's people got real excited when he threw a couple of body punches. Apparently they want him to get down underneath there before the uppercut comes. When they get close together at close quarters, try and neutralize that action from Kenny Gould. He's pretty aggressive right now, is Bryant.
And we're seeing a fighter who is more than just a defender.
And again, the uppercut down inside. Has the referee, Monty Oswald, had to step in and break him? I don't think he has in this fight, George. We're into the 3rd.
State Police Trooper Monty Oswald has been mostly an observer. Gould scoring with Bryant on the ropes, and again, Bryant trying to clinch, but it's almost impossible.
Can't hold on to this man. Well, he comes back in a hurry.
You know, the most impressive thing about his fight plan, Kenny Gould that is the fact that he's so well conditioned, he doesn't have to stop and take a breath, so there's no reason for him to get involved in any clinches. That's very rare.
Swarming offensive fighter. That's the second body shot in the last 30 seconds that really stung Anthony Bryant. The other one was just kind of a sucker punch, as we saw Bryant lunge forward, lead with his right foot, and then bring the bomb to the body rather than the head, which he was watching. Then he comes back with one off the clinch, and I think he's got Bryant's elbows in, especially the right elbow. He worked the liver side with both those body shots, and that's going to slow Bryant down even further.
We are late now in round 3. Kenny Gould will have to catch his breath, and he's got some kind of a cramp.
He got a problem with his arm. We were thinking low blow at the beginning, but we couldn't. He's injured himself somehow. Dr. Mike Sherman is in the corner to check. They accommodated him by stopping the clock. He asked for it to be stopped, and now Sherman is taking a look at the left arm of Kenny Gould. All of a sudden, it just stopped.
The undefeated Kenny Gould with 16 professional fights, all victories.
They've stopped the fight. I think I hear someone up there say that it's over. I think that someone was Monty Oswald.
Referee Monty Oswald does say the fight's over. Try to listen to what's going on now in Kenny Gould's corner.
Mike Sherman is still giving him attention. He insists on keeping his arms up in the air, or his left arm dislocated his shoulder perhaps, and he's just trying to immobilize it in his own way by resting the hand on the top of his head. Yeah, they're going to work on that shoulder. He threw his shoulder out somehow in there, or got twisted up. A freak occurrence, no question about it. George fully in control of the fight, fighting the pace he likes, quick, swarming all over Anthony Bryant. Suddenly he just had that look on his face of pain and surprise, and he said, my goodness, now they put it back in. So the shoulder was out. Take a look at the replay. We'll see right here. He misses over the top, and there it is. It's gone out at that point, and he can't bring it down.
Boy, he's fortunate. Anthony Bryant noticed what had happened and stopped swinging.
Yeah, Bryant could have moved in, and continue. They say it's going to continue now, and I think Bryant asked that. Well, Monty Oswald is over there talking to Dr. Stuart Kirschenbaum, chairman of the Michigan Athletic Board of Control. There you see the shot. The left hand goes over the shoulder and just rode up on the neck, really, of Anthony Bryant. And there it is. It's gone at that point. Gould retracted it by instinct, I'm sure, but the shoulder in that sequence went away. Whether they can continue. Gould wants to continue. The pain is gone. His seconds are talking to him. Now the question is, and I've not heard about this happening to him ever before, whether this is something that he's learned to deal with, that it's something that no one else knew about, that it only happened in the gym and it's a chronic condition, or it's just an absolute surprise to everyone involved. But I think they're still deciding whether or not to let this continue.
He's
we do not
now in his corner.
Anthony Bryant has climbed out of his corner, and Stu Kirschenbaum, the chairman of the Athletic Board of Control, look, he was hurt. They stopped this thing. You can't give a guy 4 or 5 minutes to get his shoulder put back in and then continue the fight. I don't but they're going to try it here. We're going to have to get an explanation from the state whether or not this. I've not heard of it going this way, George. Man, if a guy's hurt, we've been stopped 5 minutes.
It's a new one on me, too. We have precious little time left in round 3.
Stuart Kirschenbaum is getting lobbied by several people over there, including a couple of journalists who are credentialed to cover this fight. Lindy Lindell just went over. He said, hey, this thing's over. What are you talking about?
We may be at the outset now of round 4. Time may have run out in round 3.
Well, they're continuing the discussion over there. Stu Kirschenbaum has called Doc Mike Sherman over. That's Sherman with the mustache you see just stood up over the shoulder of Monty Oswald. And there's Stuart Kirschenbaum talking with Oswald at the moment. The two fighters are still in the ring. Gould had his shoulder repaired, whatever exactly was the problem. We don't know the medical terms. The shoulder popped out as far as I'm concerned. They popped it back in, and he's ready to continue, he thinks. Anthony Bryant went over to commiserate with the man he thought he'd beaten. Then he had left his corner. He was summoned back by his seconds. We were in round number 3 when all this started. That was now 7 minutes ago or so. The ring announcer, Wally Jackson, is in the ring. The two fighters are in the ring. 1 second is in the ring. The referee is in the ring. And they're going to call it, what are they going to call it, George?
I think Monty Oswald, the referee, has stopped the contest. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to stop this fight.
Well, they didn't stop the clock for equipment repair. They didn't stop it for a low blow warning. They didn't stop it for anything except that Kenny Gould asked for timeout.
The gloves are coming off Anthony Bryant.
Anthony Bryant's going to get a victory here. It's going to be a strange way and an inconclusive thing in terms of Kenny Gould's career, but it's going to be 16-1, and it's just an unfortunate situation from his perspective. Take a look at it. He unloads the left.
And he misses high.
Watch his hand just, the whole arm leaped upward about 6 inches as he actually kind of took the shoulder with the elbow and deflected the whole arm, and it popped out the shoulder. At this point, he said, wait, I can't. Oh, that hurts, and puts his arm up in the air. Anthony Bryant didn't react. No one had said anything. There wasn't a bell or any signal from the referee. Bryant could have waded in there and just unloaded on him, but he didn't.
Let's get the official announcement now from Wally Jackson.
Ring physician Mike Sherman and referee Monty Oswald stop this contest at 2 minutes, 54 seconds of the 3rd round. The winner by TKO, Anthony Bryant.
Anthony Bryant, a TKO winner over Kenny Gould. It'll show up that way in the record books. A strange way to get it. Kenny Gould is now 16-1. And he was well on his way to an easy win, it appeared anyway, in this fight. Is it going to be that kind of a wild night here at the Hyatt? Anthony Bryant now is 14-19-1. After this strange victory over Kenny Gould. We'll be back with more of our fight night at the Hyatt. Let's get an official explanation now of what happened in the Kenny Gould-Anthony Bryant fight. Chris McClure standing by with Dr. Stuart Kirschenbaum.
Thank you, George. The discussion has been concluded, and the announcement made that Kenny Gould loses by TKO, stopped by the official and the doctor in consultation. Stuart, there was a lot of discussion. I guess we just need to know what that was all about. Was there a question that the bout was over?
Yeah, the question we had was the sequence of events, whether or not the referee had already stopped it and Dr. Sherman had come into the ring and wanted to examine him. In the state of Michigan, a doctor has the ability to stop a contest, but unlike the referee had already counted and was stopping the bout, we will not overrule the referee's decision in the state of Michigan. The treatment rendered by the doctor in the corner, he popped his shoulder back, and at that point he felt, well, perhaps he can continue. But we were going through the sequence, and the fight was officially already over, and that's the way it will stand.
They fixed the shoulder. Kenny feels all right, but it's too late. The fight's been over for 4 or 5 minutes.
It's unfortunate, and sometimes, you know, it may have looked like Vaseline. We were just trying to find out what the sequence was on that.
Okay, straightforward enough. Kenny Gould, indeed, because of the injury, had it stopped by the referee. The doctor confirms it. Everybody's in agreement. And, George, that's the way it's going to stand.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. We'll be back with more boxing on our Fight Night at the Hyatt.